What's going on, guys? So, I still got the tracker topper in my garage right now. It's not going anywhere, but I did go on a slight detour. What was the detour? Well, just so happens that one of our longtime supporters and customers of the Tiny Boat Nation reached out to us because he was kind of in a dire situation. He had initially built his tiny boat from the ground up. Then down the line it got ruined, and by the time he got everything to redo the boat again, things happened and he really could no longer actually physically do it. And that put us in a position to where we kind of worked it out with him that if he brought it during a certain window, that we would help him out as much as we possibly could. Originally, it was just supposed to be Nate and his crew down there. And then I was like, well, do you need some help? And he said yes. And then he kind of was like, are you serious about this? And I was like, maybe. And then more and more people were interested. And so, did I end up going just before Christmas on a whim? Yeah, I did. This one has all my tools in it. That one? Yeah. Pretty cool that I get to do this with my crew. I've always wanted to fly out and do a build out. I was able to take 50 pounds worth of tools and gear, and that wasn't much. So what I chose, I hope it works. It was also pretty awesome just being back in Illinois in general, seeing how things down here at the shop have progressed. This is actually a 1240 that Nate built from scratch. The hull, the build out, everything. And it's gonna be a little pond hopper for the new shop. You gotta stay tuned and watch for that, but that's just coming a little later. Just give you a quick preview of the boat. But now for the real reason we're here. Check it out.
Had 3 customers hit that pole in there, and then they're looking out that mirror and they back right into it.
We got the key for that. Do you want the black wheel?
I think we're good.
Was that all good foam that you gutted? That's a lot of foam in there, huh?
Yeah, almost 8 containers.
Holy jeez. That's a lot. I could see the foam stains, man. This boat was never gonna sink. It was
John, you got her pretty clean, buddy.
Oh man. You saw the pictures.
I know. I was worried you weren't going to get it done. So was Ryan.
yeah.
He's like, man, we got to dig all the foam out.
I promise you I'd get that part done.
After meeting John and seeing the boat, we get ready for tomorrow. We check out all the packages that have been brought to us to go into this boat build. How many graphs is he getting? Gauge.
Yeah, there's not very much of it. I'll be.
I might have to buy.
Oh, brother. Shark Eye Nabs.
No way.
Infinity
Dude,
water radio.
I don't know. There it is. Just the 7? Pull that thing out. Is that the Mega? Is that the Gen 4?
Oh, there's 2 in here.
That's a Gen 4 chirp. That ain't no 7.
What it says, he looks 7 right on it. There's 2.
Are those able to be linked?
Well, that must be what the cord
chirp.
was. Yeah,
Yeah,
chirp.
What? Those were Minn Kota
Gen
cords,
3.
right?
Helix 7. Those are both Gen 3s? Okay.
Transducer not included.
One of them's included. Alright, so he's just linking 2
So
systems.
just one lock. It has to be that X3.
The X3 spot lock. Well, that's cool. We can talk about cheapest way to get in a spot lock, right? There are 3 main reasons why I came. 1 was for the challenge, because we only have 4 days to do this. 2 was to test our teamwork skills, because last time we worked together, we got weeks and maybe months of work done in just a day. And 3rd, and most importantly, was for you guys, because last time not only did we get a lot of work done, we got much better filming just the entire experience of being able to show you guys things that I simply just can't do as a standalone filmmaker, I can do here with these guys, because they got my back and I have theirs. So we aim to give you one of the most educational video series, period.
Keep going.
One of the bigger questions I get almost always is, how do you do a subfloor, a good subfloor, a strong solid one, in a boat like this with ribs that have no drainage? And I also get asked a lot, what should you do with the bench seats? Should you gut them? I always tell people to turn them into ribs. I don't really think people get exactly what that means, but we're going to show you very, very much in depth what we mean by that, where we turn this very basic boat with 3 big giant bench seats into a solid subfloor that makes a great foundation for the rest of our platform. This is 1 1/4 inch by 1/16 inch thick aluminum tubing. It's an equivalent to 1/8 inch aluminum angle, but it's stronger because of its fully boxed frame. We are going to use this for the subfloor because it's a really thin fit down there. We can't get a rivet gun underneath. We're going to be using stainless steel hardware to attach them to these joiners after we install them. We'll be placing those across as cross beams, and they are very sturdy by themselves, but once we stick the inner walls and put the pour foam in, this will be a very solid floor, and it'll hold in pretty much anybody, no matter what you weigh.
Doesn't flex at all. Are you gonna cut this bench? Well, I mean, when are you gonna cut the benches?
When you get here,
When we're done there?
here, you go back and cut that off.
We try to use rivets where we can, but in cases where we can't, like this, we just drill a pilot hole and we use stainless steel self-tappers to secure the subfloor beams to the bottom.
In the middle, or you just
Yeah.
cut this bench off?
So far, so good. We haven't run into any real snags, and our workflow seems to be going well. To speed things up, we have a welder on hand, so they're going to weld these corner brackets in. If you don't have a welder or this ability, you can simply just overlay aluminum angle and rivet it into the joiners, but we just kind of got around that because time is everything in this build. Our subfloor beam process is going by really well, with no real problems at all. The bench seat modifications went well, the whole process went extremely well, which is good because we can't really afford any real snags or problems like this, or our 4-day window will fall flat.
there like a porn star shoot.
The subfloor came out really well. Now we're just gonna make some final decisions on where we want to lay everything out. We have it on paper, and now we just have to bring it to life.
The pump will be back there. We'll run the hose up the bottom.
While that gets tied up, I start slotting the side rails. I get them ready for prep. We need quite a few. So here's where it starts getting slightly more tedious. Now we have to put all the rivets in. Hundreds of rivets. And it's not just any rivets, it's countersink rivets, which give a really nice, flush fitting, making everything look really clean, but it just takes extra work. A lot of drilling, a lot of countersinking, and a lot of riveting. I brought my major tools to do this, tools I knew that would perform really well, but still fit and meet the 50-pound like cutoff, so I didn't have to pay $100 extra for shipping my luggage across the country. It paid off. One of the staple tools that you will need if you're going to take on a project like this is a bandsaw. It doesn't have to be Milwaukee. Pretty much every major tool brand, Makita, DeWalt, Bosch, even Ryobi, they all make one. So you should get one, and you'll love yourself for it later.
This is for the top, tighter, because it curves around. This is for the bottom. We don't have to do the bottom, it's tight. It's tight. The bottom is really just there so we can bend it down at will, where the whole thing kind of bends. When you do this, you offset. You never cut on top of each other. Offset the cut to keep integrity of the whole thing.
The best subfloor, in my opinion, is one with the middle channel to drain all the water out. If you can do this, no matter how tall or short your subfloor is, it is worth the mod. In this particular case, we are using this foam to wall off for the channel, so we can pour foam on each side of these walls, and they'll stay. How we're going to make sure the bottom is secure so no pour foam can leak underneath the foam boards and infiltrate the channel is we'll be using quad foam, which is closed cell spray foam from the hardware store, and that will do a really good job of jamming all this up and securing it all. So when we pour the pour foam, it'll be a nice clear section for it to just lay out and expand perfectly. It's finally time to put on the front side rails. The back and middle sections are really easy because the boat is really straight, but the boat does this weird taper thing where it's short in the back, goes up in the front, and it also tapers, and a lot of people, it'll throw them off in terms of how to put it. Normally I just wing it, but there's a lot of dispute because this isn't just my project. We all eventually decided where a good spot was, and we executed it and got it pulled off. There was a nice straight run all the way through, despite the variation in the gunnel height. It's finally now time to pour in the foam. So we mix vigorously. But there's just one issue. When we're mixing it, it's taking forever to start activating. We literally were having sore arms, having to switch from one to the other to make sure we could stir it long enough just so it would have a chance. I guess it never really kind of warmed up in the shop. It was in Nate's very cold garage before we brought it over, and now we finally ran into our first problem. Ryan takes care of the middle conduit channels while I worry whether or not this foam is going to expand correctly, because if it doesn't, it ends up being not 2-pound density. It ends up being 6 and 8 and 10-pound density. The more it doesn't expand correctly and the more you have to pour on it. But lucky for us, it ends up expanding just really, really late, which causes another problem. We pour more foam in than we actually need it, so now we're going to have to trim it once it's all completely expanded.
cold affects foam in ways I don't really care for. Looks like a deflated marshmallow. It'll work though, it'll be alright.
While they trim it, Dave gets in there and tackles the weird gunnel thing going on with the spray paint over the rhino liner over the pour foam stain. I don't know what's going on there, but we take care of that. But the subfloor is ready to be secured to the bottom frame. And just as we're about to do it, Eric from Fireant Boats shows in, one of the tin can crew members. We have multiple tin can crew members showing up here, which is pretty cool. They couldn't stay the whole time like Ryan and I did, but it's still really cool to meet them and then build a boat alongside them. We all interact on social media. Some of us have been doing it for years. It isn't until just now when we formed the tin can crew together to do stuff like this that we're actually finally getting to meet. We all seem to get along really well and everything just kind of seems to flow smoothly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eric's like, this is a month's worth of work in an hour. Once this is in, me and you put the sides in.
You guys are taking too long. The three, you need to hurry up.
Go. We need to cut this funky shape off, not the underlip, just the top layer.
I would have been extremely impressed if you did other again. This is like
There's only one problem.
an epic part of this whole build. It's like the first beam.
Oh yeah.
It like feels like
How
it's
we
going
attach
somewhere.
this to this pipe.
Now that we have that one middle brace in the boat, that's gonna determine the entire layout for the rest of the boat from front to back. We're pretty excited for this because we're more or less right on schedule down to the wire of whether or not we're gonna be able to pull off finishing this frame today. If we don't finish this frame today, we have absolutely no chance of meeting the 4-day window. It's just not gonna be possible.
He's cutting tubes.
Slightly off. Did I miss the pizza? No, we still fine. We have a chance.
long story short, we finished the framing. We got it done. And then Nate treated us to the best steak and potatoes and brownies I've ever had in my life. It was awesome. His whole family and all the crew, we kind of gathered around the table, which was a workbench with an aluminum sheet over it. And we all enjoyed each other's company. And it was just a nice time to celebrate, because right now we're on track. If we can keep this pace up and we can finish this off, we can do this. It's a big deal. But this is the easy part. Everything else that's hard comes tomorrow. So stay tuned and see what comes.